Classifying triangles. All triangles are polygons. You'll recall that a polygon is a closed shape made up of line segments. So all triangles are polygons, but not all triangles are alike. We distinguish between different types of triangles by the length of their sides and the measures of their angles. Look at these two tables. In the first table, we are classifying triangles by the length of their sides. An equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides and 3 equal angles. An isosceles triangle has at least 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. A scalene triangle has 3 unequal sides and 3 unequal angles. In the second table, we're classifying triangles by their angles: acute, right, and obtuse. Each angle in an equilateral triangle measures 60 degrees. So an equilateral triangle is also an acute triangle. An isosceles triangle may be an acute triangle, a right triangle, or an obtuse triangle. A scalene triangle may also be any of the 3, acute, right, or obtuse. Take a moment to study the two tables and familiarize yourself with the different types of triangles. In the next several slides, we're going to try to draw triangles that match each of these descriptions, if possible. If not, we're going to try to explain why it's not possible. Can we draw a right triangle that is scalene, a right triangle that is isosceles, and a right triangle that is equilateral? Here is a right triangle that is scalene. It's a right triangle because we have a right angle. And it's scalene because each side of the triangle is a different length. Here we have drawn a right triangle that is isosceles. It's a right triangle because it does have one right angle. It's isosceles because at least 2 of its sides are of equal length, although the third side is not of equal length. Can we draw a right triangle that is equilateral? On a plane, it is not possible to draw a right equilateral triangle because each angle of an equilateral triangle measures 60 degrees. And a right triangle, by definition, requires at least one angle to be 90 degrees. So we cannot draw a right triangle that is equilateral. Our next challenge is to draw triangles that match these descriptions if possible, and if not, to explain why not. Can we draw an acute triangle that is scalene, an obtuse triangle that is equilateral, an acute triangle that is isosceles? Here we have an acute triangle that is scalene. Each of the sides of the triangle are different lengths, and each of the angles of the triangle are less than 90 degrees. So we have an acute triangle that is scalene. Can we draw an obtuse triangle that is equilateral? On a plane, it is not possible to draw an obtuse equilateral triangle because each angle of an equilateral triangle measures 60 degrees. To be classified as an obtuse triangle, at least one angle must measure greater than 90 degrees. Finally, can we draw an acute triangle that is isosceles? Well, an isosceles triangle has at least 2 equal sides, and we have that here. And an acute triangle must have all angles that are less than 90 degrees. And we have that here. So we have drawn an acute triangle that is isosceles.